So let's start with the very basics. So here I have created a home lab where I have my Terraform lab set up. So here what I'm going to do is try to run everything from basically a cursor using MCP for Terraform. So if you look at this, I don't have any other files here. I just have the cursor file that is mcp.json. This is what we created for the MCP setup. And under the SSH, I have just placed the public key and the private key that I created from my AWS account. So this is for once I create any EC2 instance or anything, I can use this public key and private key to access that server. So now what I'm going to simply do is open up uh, cursor. So this is the cursor page. Now, if you look at this page, if you will see that it's the same folder that I have a Terraform lab that I'm using here. So there is just the cursor with the mcp.json. I'll just open it to show what all is there. So it's pointing to the where exactly TFMCP is actually stored in my particular machine. And also it shows the Terraform directory. So this is the Terraform directory which is under home lab, Terraform lab, what you saw earlier. Okay, so that's the thing that I've declared, and it still has the keys to show. Apart from that, there is nothing here. So what I'm going to do is simply, so this is a test run that I had run earlier. So all these inputs that you see here, this was something that I just ran prior to it. I have to still understand how I can clear this. But right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a context. So what I want to do. So with this is the context that I'm looking at. So for this particular checkpoint, what I'm going to do is to create a Terraform script for an AWS deployment of a three-tier application where the app server and web server are hosted on an AWS EC2 instance with AWS Linux 2 instances. The web server is behind ALB, and the whole thing connects to an RDS database for the database layer. Okay, so these are the three layers that we are looking at. Now let's see what MCP does for us. So for this, I'm going to just run this now. Let's see what goes into the action. So now it started to create the main.tf. So it's going to create all the all what I have told it. So it will create the details for the EC2 instance, the application load balancer, RDS, everything it's going to do. Also, it is now creating the variables file as well. So it's going to create that. And as you go, it is creating the output file, output.tf file as well. This will go on forward and create the modules also. So I'm asking it to create the modules. So now it's asking whether it needs to create the folder structure for the modules file. So I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to run that. I'm also going to ask it to create this as well. Yeah, because there was no modules folder. First, it has to create the folder and then create the subfolder. So that was a mistake. So now it will ask again. So now I'm going to tell it to run this. Going to do each module separately. So that it created a module for VPC, then the security group, now the RDS. So, so now it's going to add those modules wherever it feels fit. You'll have to check this at the end, but this is just to understand what all it is creating. Yeah, so this is the first module. This is the VPC module that it is creating. So this will take some time because it's a VPC module. It will have all the networking under it. So the NAT gateways, whatever we are requiring, all of the details will be here. So this is why it is taking time. Wait for it. The round tables and everything has been created. So this is going to be the bigger one. I think the rest of the modules would be smaller because they are towards the RDS, the between things. So those would be smaller modules. So that should be quicker. So once this is over, I think it will move quicker. So each of the modules are having the main.tf, the variable.tf, and the output.tf in those folders. So we'll go and check that, or rather we can do that right away while this is working on its own. So you will see that under VPC you will have three files. Now the security group is getting created. Soon we'll be able to see there will be a main.tf, an output.tf, and a variable.tf created there as well. So you see that the main.tf has come up under security group. Now a variable.tf has also come up under it. Soon you will see an output.tf as well. Yeah. Now it will go to mostly RDS next. Yeah. So you should be seeing all three files coming on there as well. There it is. The main.tf, the variable.tf, and the output.tf. So the EC2 and the ALB modules. I think it's meant for the ALB. So it doesn't just stop at the modules and the main.tf, the general part. Now it also, what it does, it also helps you create, I mean, basically, okay, this part, I mean, this part is expected. This is user data. Apart from the user data, because this is for, it's doing your user data for the web server and the app server as well. And not the app server possibly. We'll check that, but I think it's mostly for the web server it has done it. So this is what it is creating now. Yeah, so this is the web server.sh. So that's done. Now you see that, oh, there is an app server.sh as well. So it's giving the logic for both. Now you can obviously go ahead and make the changes for the app server.sh. That it depends on what logic you're putting. So you can actually do that for that. So this one has Node.js, but at least from what I see to see, because I have not mentioned the specifics of that. So it created that. And it does not just stop there. So now what it is doing now, it's creating the README file as well. So basically, when you're putting it into a version control, this would be very helpful to create a basic description of what you have created. So as you update these things, or you have a better or a more elaborate prompt, I think it will give you a much better creation of files and the folder structure. It also has created, so if you look at this, it is also creating the gitignore file as well. So with the gitignore file, it is actually telling you to avoid these files to be uploaded to the version control. So this is the complete picture. So you see that it has been giving you a summary of what has created, the folder structure, the tree structure, and also it is telling you what are the next steps, what you can do for the next steps. So this is the complete overview. Now, just to see whether this, I mean, basically, let's see whether this can work out. So I can simply do can you initialize. Now, if you see over at the left, there is no .terraform file created. That means your Terraform has not been initiated yet. So the .terraform file has not been created. So I'll have to initialize first. So can you initialize? Let me ask it. Can you initialize and plan a Terraform deploy? I'm only using plain English so that I don't have to type in the command. So obviously it's asking the Terraform in it. I'm going to tell it to do it. So yes, so now you'll see that on the left hand side, immediately the .terraform file has been created. Perfect. So now the next step would be it will ask you for okay, okay. So because this was just an example, now it's going to make it to the Terraform TF first. So that was the second step that it was mentioned earlier. So just look at this one. So TF first. So I'm going to tell it to do it. I'm not making any changes because I this is just an example we are trying. Now let's do a plan. Now that it has created that file, let's do a plan. Let's see what it does. So I think it has seen some issues there, and I think it is asking you to it's asked to fix it. So I think what was the designated variable for the security group module is empty. Okay? So now it has added those details. Let's see whether now what the plan does. Okay, now property escape. So that is not trying to submit. Okay. Okay. Uh, so basically, it's not showing you the output. So what we'll do is um, we on plan and output it to the file name uh, Terraform underscore class dot p. Yes. It's taking more time than expected. While that is working out, anyway, let me bring out. Uh, Let me try it running from the PowerShell because now all the files are there. Let me just try and run this again. PowerShell, how to do uh, uh, so yeah, so I think it was too big a file. That was the issue. That's the reason for changing time. So it is working perfectly fine. I think it might be a glitch is what I feel. Uh, so if you look at this, there are 33 planned to add, 0 to change. Now, none of these files I have created. This is all created by basically MCP for Terraform. So yeah, this actually shows you the use case that can be for it. So a better prompt when you're creating or a more streamlined prompt would give you a better solution. Now, does it solve everything? I don't think so. So I would say that somebody who understands Terraform, there's a good, the better idea would be to actually go through the code that it has generated here. so that we know that this is perfect or this is as per our requirement. So yeah, this was a short bit to understand what this does. Let me just stop this first. Okay, not working. Let me try that again just before we close. Okay, try again. Yeah, now it should have created a different approach. Okay. Something else that is not doing so let me try again. The plan has been defined. Let me check every fiber created and show you something. That's something. Okay, let me show you. It should potentially show you the plan here. Okay, instead of doing this, let me see the file was created. Yeah. Okay. So you see that it has created all that we saw on the plan. And you should see that there are changes to output. Yeah, I don't think the output on a text file was the best idea, but you get the hint. So basically, it has created everything, and it does actually go ahead and create it now. Not sure why this file is like this. Maybe it's the problem, but yeah. So now it's giving you the proper output of this. So it is also telling you how much time it will take. All of those details also it is giving you. If I apply it, it will go and apply it on my AWS account, which I have configured. So I'm not going to do that. But yeah, this concludes our basically the test of this particular MCP for Terraform. Uh, Hope this will help. Thank you.
Thank you, bye, and see you in the next one.